Howdy, y'alls. Welcome back. It's me, Dr. E, and this time I'm here to help you out with our week 2 work. We got all sorts of things to deal with this week. I'm going to go over kind of some key concepts, go over assignments, give you some extra insights. That's kind of my agenda for this video. So let me dive on into it, This week we start off with the scientific method, all right? And you need to pay real close attention to this because this is essentially our map. This is how we as social scientists approach any social science issue. Well, any social issue. Think of this as our research map. This is how we do it, all right? And it doesn't really matter the specific discipline, be it psychology, sociology, anthropology, all right? You know, you can get into the nitty-gritty details about specific methods and theories and stuff like that within each of those disciplines, but at a kind of broader level, they all kind of go through the same key steps, right? And that is choose a social science issue and ask questions about it. That's where we start, right? And you've already started doing that in our first week's discussion. One of the things you were supposed to do is share some ideas about things that you might research. And next up, we actually start researching the social science issue and identify opportunities for future research. All right, so we start with identifying the issue, then we do a little background digging, right? We do some, literature review. We see what is out there about the thing we're interested in, right? And from that's where we actually develop a question, okay? Because your question has to be informed, right? And this step is about informing yourself. It's not about analysis or anything like that. It's just to, ground your question, right? Put it in the proper context. Hope that makes sense. And so, you from your initial little literature review, all right, not the in-depth one, just getting your feet wet and familiar with your topic, right? And you're going to read different sorts of perspectives and insights and ideas about it. From those, you kind of use those to help form an informed research question, okay? And you also want to think about the best way to go about answering it. Okay, what sort of social science perspective are you going to use? What's the best suited to researching and understanding your particular issue? Okay, we often form a hypothesis. Okay. Well, actually, before we get there, one of the things we do, kind of as an extension of the literature review, is identify people who might be interested in your particular research question. Like that connects to the sorts of what sorts of folks, disciplines, our various social sciences, other things beyond that, because those are just academic disciplines, right? But who would really be interested? Try to identify key professions or things like that. Okay, because that's going to help you answer why is this of value? All right, you're identifying the people that it's going to be of value to. All right, then we get to forming a hypothesis. All right, and this is your best guess, right, at why something is, why your social issue is. Okay. Now, remember, it's just an idea. It's an idea of why it might be. You don't actually know why it is until you actually collect and analyze data. Okay? And for this class, you're not going to be doing collecting data from, research subjects or anything like that. No. Oh God, we would get in so much trouble. No, rather you're going to be using the literature itself. You're going to use the existing literature as your data, all right? The specific nitty-gritty details about your social issue, okay? And you're going to review all sorts of literature about your issue and collect those key pieces of information, okay? Then once we've collected those pieces of information, then we're actually going to scrutinize them. All right, we're going to use specific lenses to look at it in specific ways to give us kind of key insights. Okay, those insights are then what we use to draw conclusions. All right, what we found out. Did our hypothesis hold up? All right, or not? Why not? Okay, that whole why not? Okay, so that maybe your question was wrong. Maybe you didn't phrase it the right way. Maybe there were certain limitations in your available data that didn't allow you to find the answer. Okay. All those sorts of questions, right? Those are identifying the limitations of your research, and helps identify what sort of question you can ask to either pursue like a key thing that came up in your research that you weren't expecting or you didn't realize was associated with, yada yada. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I teach elaborate classes about social science theory and methodology and all that. And so I'm trying to condense a whole lot of information down into a very little tight blurb. I hope it's helpful, though. I believe our Mind Edge resource does a pretty good job of breaking it down. They streamline it quite well. So listen to what I say here and definitely check it out in our text, eh? So next up in my agenda is we want to think a bit about social science issues. You've already started. We want to take that further, okay? Our resource has actually a great kind of thematic list of great topics. You know, they use things like culture, health, media and technology, work, race and ethnicity, self-expression, sex, gender and sexuality, war, wealth and poverty. All right, like so much. And then within each of those, say within race and ethnicity, woof, I am stumbling over my words today. They identify some particular issues, such as racism and protesting, a person's sense of ethnicity in an increasing global society. All right, essentially, how does globalization influence individual identity of ethnicity? Okay. Gosh, there's so much to that. I mean, like you can see, like you just kind of peel back the first layer, and you're like, oh my goodness, there's so much more to that, and you can start seeing connections between things. Like one of our other themes presented here is self-expression. You see a connection between individual identity, all right, and self-expression? Oh yeah, right? It's there. Identity, ethnicity connect to how people see sex, gender, and sexuality? Oh yeah. All right. So you see how I just made connections between three seemingly unrelated things, right? But they're all connected. So yeah, I really want you to go over and think about what sparks your fancy, right? It's best that you're passionate about it. Just don't, go through the paces, right? Get engaged. It's the best way to learn this stuff. So, I want to I'm going to move on from that and go on to my next section, and that's beliefs and values. All right. Now, I'm a cultural anthropologist, so I could just chew your ear off until the cows come home about cultural values and beliefs. Or better said, sociocultural values and beliefs. One of the first things I really want to highlight here is all cultural beliefs and values are relative to the societies and cultures in which you find them. All right? There are no universal beliefs and values. They do not exist. At best, you can find commonalities between, say, a series or a group of cultures or societies, but that's about it. I mean, like we talk about westernized societies, right? Well, that westernization, right? Inherent to that are, shared beliefs and values. But let me point out, some relativity here. Where I work in West Africa, it's completely different. Heck, even here in our society, there are unique regions which have very specific beliefs and values associated with them. Yeah, we all watch enough TV that we see the stereotypes and the stigmas associated with those. All right, like the South. I've lived there. It's not quite like how outsiders perceive it, right? Yeah, so just, what I really want to underscore is be conscious of this otherness, all right? Always keep your personal bias in check. In fact, like across all the social sciences, that's like one of our number one rules. All right, always kind of like reflecting on our personal bias involved in this, right? Because it colors how we see things. And as a social science researcher, if your culture, your history, your experiences, all of that is coloring how you see things, that's pretty important. All right. So yeah, keep an eye out for it. I think, actually, I know, in reviewing our materials, the case study on the Navajo is really great for exploring beliefs and values from a social science perspective. They do an excellent job of breaking it down. Really digestible. So I strongly encourage you to check that out in detail. Okay. I'm trying to keep this short. How much time have I been in? Oh, 12 minutes. Okay. Not bad so far. Let's get to assignments. You got a discussion this week. Be sure to check out my initial thoughts post, right? That's where I try to give you extra insights, further orientation, things like that. Always, start there before you even make a post. For this particular discussion, you're going to describe your selected social science issue and include two relevant questions that social science professionals, i.e. psychologists, sociologists, and or anthropologists might be interested in. So remember that whole list of things, those topics, okay? This is where you can apply that. I strongly suggest you do so. So it's about connecting the issue, all right, with specific social, to questions that connect or reflect the different social sciences. All right, I hope that makes sense. Let me give an example. So I am super off the deep end about wildlife, particularly conflicts between people and wildlife. All right. So my question might be, why do these conflicts occur? Why do they happen? And I might ask, what is there something unique about them? What unique themes do they reflect? So like, are we talking about deforestation, or are we talking about overfishing? Are we talking about poaching, or are we talking about traditional subsistence practices? Okay, so all of those were questions. So yeah, and I could readily, key social sciences. I would highlight anthropology. Go figure, that's what I am. And anthropology is going to be a real nice cultural perspective. And there are various subfields of anthropology: biological, archaeological. I mean, like, how has this been through history? Yeah, but another key one that I'd be really interested in is a sociological perspective, right? Like, within the society, like, are these sorts of human environmental conflicts caused by, state policy, right? Are things being, enforced on local communities that are forcing them to do things that they otherwise wouldn't? Yeah. So anyway, that's a quick idea to get you started, help you see the connections. You also have this week Research Investigation Progress Check 1. It's really well outlined in our MindEdge resource. It walks you through the steps. So I really suggest that you go through that process. It's going to make it nice and easy. Check out the guidelines and rubric for it. Okay. You also have 4 short responses this week. You can draft them when you do your readings, and at the end of it, you can touch them up, make clear connections, and then download and submit. You also got test your understanding number 2. You don't get a grade for this, but I present them as things you should do. All right, they're not going to impact your course grade at all, but they help you assess your understanding of the material. And I can tell you what, if you're avoiding them because of that, that means you need to do them. Okay. There are additional exercises as well. There's the games, where you connect the concept with the example. Those are really great for practicing these things, right? Like, part of this course is to get you to actually be able to identify, okay, here we have this concept, here we have a bunch of different examples. The concept connects to not that one, but that one. They really help. Guarantee, and if you invest in them, they're going to help you in this class. So that's where I'm going to leave this. About 10 minutes shorter than last time. I'll see you all on the discussion boards, and take care.